But I want to welcome one of my dear friends, Collins Touhy Smith, to everybody this evening. So pumped to be able to catch up because literally it takes a live or a podcast for us to even catch up these days.
Which is so sad. We've got to change that. How many times did we play phone tag week before last?
Yeah.
And how many different outlets did we play phone tag through? I FaceTimed you, you called me, I DM'd you, you DM'd me back. Then we had like a group text chat with my mom. I'm like, how many ways can we try?
How many times? A ton of people have been like, how does this work? Like, how do y'all even know each other? Well, I was looking back through photos just a few days ago, and it was 10 years ago this year that we first met, which is just crazy. And every time I tell the story, I still laugh because I just think of your mom because she's absolutely hilarious. For those that are just joining us, the Collins Touhy, and I guess now she's well known for being Family from the Blind Side movie, but she has so much more on besides the movie. But where did we first meet, Collins?
The CMT Awards.
Yes. And I was wearing a pink dress and Collins was wearing a pink dress. Was it pink?
No, you were wearing, we were both wearing like bodycon dresses. Yours was black.
Oh my gosh.
And mine was, see, this is what happens when you have children.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Fact of the matter is we were in different color dresses, both tight, curvy. And Collins's mother, I'm standing there talking to somebody and she taps me on the shoulder and starts talking to me like I'm Collins. And I'm like, who? I didn't know what the movie was. I was like, who is this person? And she's like, oh, you're not Collins. I'm like, who are you? And what are you talking about? And she grabs me and says, come with me right now. You're going to be best friends with my daughter. She drags me across the red carpet. We were backstage and it's like, now this is Collins. And then she literally, do you remember, she literally just like walks off and leaves us there.
Yes. And I was like, hi. I didn't know that all of that had just transpired. And so you were like, so funny story. Your mom just started talking to me for like 3 minutes before she turned around and realized it wasn't you, that it was me. And then spiraled into why we should be friends.
I know. It was hilarious. It really was. I don't know. It was meant to be because it was funny. The very next day, I think it was the very next day, y'all were flying to maybe a football game somewhere from Nashville. And
yeah.
I mean, I didn't have any family or know anybody. And Collins' mom's like, well, do you want to just jump on our plane and come to a football game with us? And I'm like, well, I hope they're not murderers. And I hope these people like know how to fly a plane because I'm going to travel halfway around the country with these random people. But we've definitely had some great memories.
I'm sorry. I'm still technical difficulty trying to get my phone set up.
You're good. Like, your wall looks good, Collins, so you're doing fine.
Thanks, babe.
All right. So yes, Collins Touhy. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her for the people that are questioning and asking some stuff. From the Family of the Blind Side, has an amazing cookie company, y'all, called Whimsy's Cookies. Did I say it right?
Whimsy.
It's the accent.
Yeah.
And she provides cookies for events and red carpet and different things like that. It's amazing. And then she is also a fashion influencer. So we're just kind of going to backtrack. We met at the CMT Awards 10 years ago and have became really good friends ever since. We have a lot of great memories together. One that we haven't mentioned yet, but library. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And you know, everyone was dressed up and we rock up and the library's like a club and people say they're going to the library so their parents don't think they're going out. I was just like, wow, whose idea was that?
I feel like I threw you into like adult college world without realizing that you like hadn't been in actual school since you were like 16.
No, I was like, people do what? Guys do what? Huh? I was just like, whoa, I've kind of been sheltered. This is I'm kind of glad. It was just so much fun. We had a great time. We've had a lot of fun times together. But, you know, some of the things that I wanted to chat to you about today, because I've even asked you this in person, but it's been a long time. Yeah, I see where you're at now in life, and you're married to your husband's Collins Smith, and y'all live in Memphis still. But if you backtrack to, I guess the movie is it 11 or 12 years ago now?
10.
So, right? 10. Was it 10? Was it the year that, okay, it was the year we met.
It was the year we met.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was literally
11 years.
Wow. So when you were watching the movie unfold, was that really surreal, being able to, I mean, I know parts of it weren't necessarily, you know, movies always add things to it. Now that I know y'all, I know that some things weren't exactly correct, but seeing your life on the big screen, like, that had to just be really weird, honestly.
Yeah, super weird. It was like the Twilight Zone, you know, seeing double, and then you're reliving these things that had happened kind of at that point quite a long time ago. So it was strange.
And then, you know, seeing the way Tim McGraw and Sandra portrayed your parents, I mean, my opinion, Sandra was amazing. She was just like your mother. It was like scary. She was scary like your mother. Don't you agree?
Yes, very scary. It was crazy, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it was just really neat to see that. And, you know, I will say, the first time I met y'all, the one thing that I really admired about your family was, and I'm sure it's still the same today, race didn't matter. Money didn't matter. It didn't matter who you were, what color you were. Your mom didn't know who I was. I mean, I could have just been an assistant of somebody backstage, yet she was opening up her house for me to spend Thanksgiving meals with y'all. And it just, and I know that, especially the way the world is today, and where y'all are from, I mean, that's not necessarily how everybody is. So I definitely admire that about your family.
Yeah, and I think, you know, people just assume because of the movie that, like, Michael was the only person that sort of dynamic was happening with. And, like, you're really a living example of kind of, you know, like, my family just has the character quality of being very, like, open and welcoming, and there's this open door policy. And some of that is that they're Southern, and a lot of it comes from my grandmother. Like, she just tends to, like, adopt people in, and then they just, like, never leave. But, you know, but it's kind of sort of a way of life for us. And I'm really glad that my parents and grandparents set that example, because this day and age, everybody is so quick to be untrustworthy, and they're quick to make judgments, and we have this whole cancel culture that's going on. And obviously I'm very in support of the change that is happening in culture. But I also think that there is a bit of, like, hugging and hand holding and sit at my table that we're because generations before us aren't really, like, passing that down. So I'm really glad that my parents kind of raised me, you know, with that in mind.
Yeah. And you said your grandma, I still, you know, she would send me Christmas cards, and I would send her Christmas cards. And I mean, literally, I think there was one time that y'all weren't even home, and I just drove to Memphis to hang out with your grandma, because I just needed to feel like I was at home, and she truly took me in like one of her grandchildren. I think that's probably, like you said, where it came from. It's definitely been passed down generations.
Totally. And yes, I actually remember that. I remember you being like, I'm passing through, I'm just driving. We weren't there. And you're like, it's okay, I'm just going to stay with Grandma.
So, now with Kenan, tell me, what age did you all start dating? I know it was really young. It was high school, right?
I just turned 18.
Okay.
So yes, of my senior year of high school.
But y'all grew up, like, your grandparents knew each other, right?
Grandmother and his mom were really good friends. He's the baby of 10, and my grandmother had my mom really young. So my grandmother and his mom were only 7 years apart in age.
Oh, wow.
Maybe. And my grandmother was the mom's interior designer, and they were best friends. And so, and I actually split the difference between him and his next to oldest sister. So growing up, I was really her friend, and he was just kind of tag along. But Yeah, we both have these like random childhood memories where, we were doing things together.
So 1 of 10, does that mean that you'll have to go and have a big family one day or what?
I probably am not going to have 10. I'm thinking that train's passed.
I guarantee that question gets asked all the time to you about, I mean, we know you have 2 dogs that are adorable, but I know people ask, so when are you going to have kids? Because they ask me all the time.
Yeah, I do get, honestly, I do get asked that a lot, which I think is such a strange question to ask someone because, like, we aren't having any difficulties, but you're like, gosh, you see all these people on Instagram and they're talking about their infertility struggle, and you're like, that is just really not a question. Somebody asked me the other day, when are you going to have kids? I said, well, not today. Like, I don't know. Whenever God decides that it's time for me to have kids.
Or like, we all do it. If you're like bloated or wearing a shirt that's looser than normal, people are like, oh, she's pregnant. Are you pregnant? I'm like, no, I just didn't work out this week, or I ate a donut. Like, seriously, y'all?
Which is awful. Like, I hate that part of our culture.
Tyson says that we're going to have 10 kids. Unless he's going to grow a girl pot and pop him at it, we are not having 10 kids. We will have one more, and that's about as, if we get 3 girls, I am done. That is a lot of estrogen in one house. And if we have a boy, I'm done too. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm a girl mom. I feel like I'm a really good girl mom. I don't know about having a boy, what I do there. So I told you earlier, because I had to laugh, somebody asked me, what would your husband do if you shipped a package with UPS? And I just thought that was hilarious, because those that don't know, Collins's family's involved with some FedEx stuff. So I just thought that was so hilarious that someone's like, oh, what would Kenna do if she shipped UPS? I'm like, well, I don't know. Ask her. So what would you do?
He'd probably divorce me. We're really competitive people. Like, I think that was probably one of the things that drew us to each other, character quality wise. Like, we're both uber competitive.
Yes.
I mean, with everything. So not with each other, but just in life. And we, we're competitive about our family businesses. We're competitive about our own businesses. So I think we take all of that like very, seriously, because, when your parents spend so much time building something and doing something or being a part of something, you're really proud of them and you want to support that to the best of your ability. So yeah, we do our to do that.
Yeah. Now,
I never eat Taco Bell, and I don't eat any other fast food ever. Just Taco Bell.
That's hilarious. Collins's parents are involved in Taco Bell. So if you are going to support a fast food chain, be sure to support Taco Bell, because they do a ton with people. I know that's my parents and my brother are like, we need to start Taco Bell in Australia. It's the best. So if they ever want to take it to Australia, keep us in mind. Okay, so your house is absolutely beautiful. And I was saying to Tyson the other day, if there was another pandemic and we had to quarantine for a long time, I'm probably going to move in with you. So I want to know who did all the design work for I know you did all the inside, but like all that outside stuff, like was that Kenan was just like, okay, what I want in a house, and just started designing, and you're like, whoa.
Kenan was like, yes, my mom and I did all of it. Kenan was a great sounding board. So if I had an idea and I was, like toying with something or thinking about it or had a vision, he was the person that would be like, he is very opinionated and he knows what he likes, which is the best part about him. But he also isn't so opinionated that I could be like, and keep in mind, we've known each other for a long time. So that helps when doing a project like this. So I would show him pictures of things and say, hey, I think, we should do this like this. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Knowing that he was probably going to like it. And then there were certain situations where I'd kind of have to not twist his arm. Because like, honestly, I could have told him I wanted our front door to be like magenta and he probably would have been okay with it. It would have been cool in the long run, because he knows that I am very passionate about like blending our styles, and we like a lot of the same things. He asked me not to make our kitchen all white, and we pretty much have an all white kitchen, and he loves it. Like, yeah, all done, and he could see the final project. He loved it. So, but you know, then again, I tell people all the time, I'm like, that's part of the reason why I married him. Like, I married him because he trusts me with that kind of stuff. There's no way I could have married somebody that would have had an opinion about, like, if I used a wallpaper in a certain bathroom.
And you know, the style, the Southern style in Memphis, when I first remember when I came to y'all's place, like, the old place they had, it was stunning, but like I noticed that the Southern thing was there was wallpapers and all that kind of stuff, and that was not a thing we did in Australia, and I was like, wow, this is just like to see the Southern style and see the stuff, because your grandma and your mom and they would be you know, interior designing, and I'm like, they're like, this is really nice, and I'm like, what? Like, I couldn't wrap my head around it at the time, and now I'm like, now I get it, and I'm like, oh, now I know why she had that crazy wallpaper in a bathroom or on her roof. And but I did notice this time around your house is more white. Like your theme is a lot of white. So good luck when you have children.
Just my kitchen area, which is all, everything can be wiped down. I kind of went with like soft, like grays, taupes, browns, just so if I wanted change stuff out, you know, it would be easy.
So I'm just gonna ask a couple things. I know you're gonna run, but in the pandemic, what's one of the surprising things you actually enjoyed during this time?
Staying at home. So, in the calendar year of 2019, I was home less than 100 days. I just travel all the time. I travel for work. I travel during football season. Like, I'm gone 3 out of the 7 days of the week. I travel for fun. It's just always been a part of my lifestyle. So I was honestly shocked that I truly liked, like, my feet being on the ground in my home in Memphis, Tennessee for 5 months, you know, at a time. And I hopped down to Florida for a little bit, and there were little things here and there. I was in Memphis and really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think that was the same thing for Tyson and I. I know that when everyone first quarantined, we were like, oh crap, like now what? Like, it was just so weird it took me a few weeks to like really be able to like, we kind of live in the middle of nowhere anyway. We live like our place backs onto a river, and we live literally 20 minutes from town. So, I mean, if we were going to be quarantined, it wasn't a bad place to be quarantined, but not that we eat out that much. But actually, talking about that, I got to ask, how did your mom handle quarantine not cooking? Did she learn to cook, or did she just get delivery?
No, she just got to. She did not learn.
That is one thing that you'll have to know about Leanne. And she told me the first time I came to her house, she said, Shea, I will not be cooking you dinner. We will be either ordering in or going out. She was just so blunt. And one other thing that I remember your mom saying, and it still sticks to me, I'm going to have to tell her, I don't know where we were. I turned up to your house, and your mom literally looked at me and said, Shea, your hair color is terrible. You need to go and get it dyed. And I was just like, I love you.
Wait, what did she say? You broke up.
She told me, do you remember when she said, Shea, your hair color is terrible. You need to go and get it dyed. Do you remember that? And I was like,
no, but not at all.
Yeah, but I was like, I love you. She's like, you're gorgeous. She said, but your hair color looks terrible. We need to go and get that fixed. I was like, well, I just got it done a few weeks ago, but okay, let's go.
She has an honesty filter. That's for sure.
And that's fantastic. But anyway, Collins has to run, y'all. But we just wanted to get on here. Sorry we had some technical difficulties. We are going to plan. I'm going to actually take the girls to Memphis. So we will actually catch up in person next time, and we'll see how her dogs handle my 2 children. We'll see how that is. Yes, exactly. But y'all have a great evening, and thank you, Collins. we appreciate it. Y'all make sure that you go on to Collins's Instagram and Facebook. She's a fashion influencer. So if you want to see styles, I know I personally buy several of your outfits that you have on there. I wore a couple of them at the NFI. So I love following your stuff. And then if you're chasing some great cookies, be sure to click on her page. I know that she'll have a link there somewhere, but they do ship all the way around America. So she can ship it to you even in Texas.
Love you.
Mm. Hey, and y'all be sure to check out my new single as well. I know I sent Collins a link ages ago, but maybe the next music video she can be in.
Yes.
Let's do it. We're going to write a song when I'm in Memphis. See you guys.
I'm ready. Bye. Love you.
Bye.